Hey folks, Chris here with BigCat Ranch. Today I want to talk to you about bear encounters because I just had one not moments ago. So let's get into it. So let's talk about bears. So as I said moments ago, just right down here, I must have woken a sleeping bear or something, because the odd thing is that I came to check the water system, which is just sort of right here, and I was here for a few minutes, kind of poking around, and then I walked to the edge of the road, and I looked over just to see how our water flow is just down the hill here, and I don't know, I must have woken up a sleeping bear, because boy, that thing just right down here just started crashing through the brush, and definitely scared it. Anyways, it was headed in the right direction as far as away from me, so I wasn't too worried about anything. But yeah, pretty funny to scare him like that. And yeah, anyways, they're gonna be swatting bugs here because it's our mosquito season. So anyways, let's talk about bears. Let's talk about bear safety. Let's talk about a few things to think about while you're out and about in the forest, whether you're hiking or even just biking in some of the forested areas, trails, things like that. You run into, well, most common in our area is black bears, and and I know they're all over the place. So yeah, I have I have a bit of experience in this category, and you don't plan it. It's not like I went looking for it, but like I said in other videos, I did work in the forest industry, and so I have spent quite a bit of time, just working out in the forest, like in the sort of cut blocks and things like that, and we had lots of bears around. One of my earlier encounters was when I was about 19 years old, and I was taking a lunch break, and my uncle and one of my coworkers was sitting in the pickup truck on the road, and I decided to take a little wander up into the bush to a fresh cut block. There was a mossy spot, and I just saw nature's lawn chair waiting for me. So I took a little wander and laid down just above them. They could see me, and I sat down, ate my lunch, put my lunchbox on my lap, and kind of, laid back on the moss. It was a beautiful spot, and I took my hard hat and I just kind of pulled it up over my face a little, just to get some shade, and took a little bit of a snooze. And I don't know, I don't think I really fell asleep, but I was just kind of just eyes shut, just taking a break, and I had my lunchbox on my lap. Like I said, it was open still, and all of a sudden I heard something snorting, like a kind of like a snorting sound, and something bumped up against my legs. And obviously I jumped. My heart went flying off my head. This little bear, it was a little blackie, had its head stuck in my lunchbox, and I went one way at 100 miles an hour, and he went the other way, and oh boy, we stopped, a few feet apart and stared at each other, and yeah, I was like, I don't know what that little thing was thinking. I guess it just wasn't very used to humans, and I don't know, just wasn't afraid of me. Anyways, kind of scary. But anyways, and the funniest part actually was that my uncle and my coworker watched the whole thing happen and never warned me, never said a thing. Oh boy. Anyways, my uncle Reg is watching. Shout out to my uncle. And yeah, that was quite the scare. But anyways, lots of other encounters throughout the years, and so I just thought I would bring a few things to light, and just because I just had a little bear encounter here, and just up the road I have a trail camera, and it has tons of bears on it. So this is prime bear season, and just a few things to think about. One is just, and I think it's probably one of the biggest things, is just spatial awareness. I see people, it's caught on camera all the time, people stopping beside a highway to, try to get the bear, lure the bear or whatever. And I just saw it the other day, a bunch of people crowding around. trying to get this bear's attention. And I thought, just, oh boy, just be, oh, it's such a bad idea. And, the thing is like I said, spatial awareness, just be aware of what's around you. If you're hiking or biking or whatever, you're out in the bush, just head up and look. The good thing about bears is that they, well, typically they're scared of people. Typically, I mean, unless they're threatened, and even then, often they'll take off. But it's just being aware of what's around you. And like in this case, obviously, I didn't know it was there, and I scared him more than he scared me. But yeah, just to be heads up, just know what's around you, and often you can see them from a bit of a distance, and you're just stay back, just watch to see what their mannerisms are. You want to be, presenting as big as possible, and but generally speaking, you don't want that close encounter. You want to be, you want it to be heading in the opposite direction. So make noise, and make sure it knows, you're there, and so that it'll generally go in the opposite direction. And so that's the biggest thing to me, is just know what's around you as much as possible. And the good thing, like I said, about the bears is that they're going to make noise if they're moving. Like if you're in dense underbrush somewhere, happen to be doing some, off trail stuff, uh, typically speaking, you're going to hear them. They're not quiet. They make a lot of, that's the one thing I noticed working around them for years, is they make a lot of noise typically when they're moving. And so you'll hear them, like this one downhill. Oh man, that thing was crashing and smashing through the trees, underbrush. And so they're definitely going to be making noise, and you can hear them coming. And then just for those that are really off grid, or on sort of out in the bush, one thing to sort of be a little bit aware is which way the wind is blowing, because the bears have this very keen sense of smell, and that brings up a couple points. One is, if you're packing food or whatever, just keep it well wrapped up. Yeah, I think they smell it even in containers, but anyways, that's a debate for another day. But just keep your food, somewhere, well packaged. And if you're camping, obviously, or overnighting somewhere, they have these bear caches and stuff like that, food caches, where you're hanging it up in trees and things like that. Just think it through a little bit. Or if you're at a cabin, just don't leave food out on the table all day. Things like that, just to be smart. But back to this thing about the wind, and it occurred to me as I was standing here, because the wind is blowing uphill here, and it was blowing in, like, it would be my advantage, because the wind was, his scent was blowing towards me. And if it was the other way around, I don't know, he was sleeping, so maybe he wouldn't have smelt it, but maybe. And but the wind is a big thing. The animals will pick up your scent. Obviously, they're going to smell you. You probably won't smell them. If you're smelling an animal, you're closer than you want to be. And this one might have been deaf too. I don't know. They hear really well, but maybe he's getting old like me and just can't hear anything. But anyways, that's just another thing to think about, is the direction of the wind. And then just to be extremely spatial aware, and watch your food, and yeah, just keep your distance. Don't entice, or don't go looking for an encounter, unless you're very experienced at what you do. And yeah, it's there's all kinds of things you can pick up. We just took a good long run off in the bush in a pretty heavy wooded area, and I carried a whistle, and Jane carried some bear spray. And funny story about that bear spray was that it's a small canister. I bought it at an outdoor store, and when I went in there, I asked for a small one, because Jane wanted to carry it while she was running. She didn't want this big canister with her, just this little handheld thing. And it was a young girl behind the counter. I don't think she was more than 20 something. And she started telling me that you couldn't use this on bears, it wouldn't work, this, that, and the other thing. She didn't even want to sell it to me, to be honest with you. And so finally, I kind of took a deep breath, and I was like, okay, let me ask you a question. I was like, how many bear encounters have you had in your life? And she looked at me with big eyes. She was like, none? Well, she was like, I never want to have a bear encounter. I said, well, let me tell you. I said, I'm no, I'm not the authority expert on the topic, but I've had a few, probably more than I can count on one hand, pretty much face to face. So anyways, yeah, it's been a few times. So I said, I am pretty sure, if you spray this in the eyes of something, if you're going to have an encounter that close, it's going to affect it. So anyway, she eventually did sell it to me, but yeah, definitely don't want to have to use that bear spray, but if you are going out, it's not a bad idea to grab some. And like I said, grab a whistle and just make some noise. They're gonna most time they're gonna run away. So anyways, folks, thanks for watching. Be safe out there. Think it through. Be spatially aware. Watch where your food is at and carry something to protect yourself. And I'm sure you're going to be fine. Anyways, if you have any stories or comments, drop them in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to get back to you. Okay, thanks for watching. Have yourself a great day.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.